Hello, welcome back to our show. We are here with everybody unmuted and ready to go as we recap the week's discussions. First up, we'll go with Demetrius's because he put a lot of thought into his piece. So we're going to see if we want to tear into him first. So, gentlemen, cap or no cap to anything he said about the Mets and the NL East?
Hold on, I have to get ready for this. No cap to what Demetrius said because all of us, honestly, we didn't really think about the Phillies being a team in the NL East that would do something, especially considering they've kind of been stagnant minus re-upping on Real Muto and maybe getting a couple of bullpen pieces, but those bullpen pieces have become the key ingredient.
Yeah, and I will say –
So you're going to ignore the lean-in bit.
So I will say cap to the lead.
It's called final thoughts for a reason.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's what I wanted. Thank you.
Don't worry.
I'm just going to say cap to the Conforno lean in. You're doing what you're supposed to do, being a loyal fan. Just like I would defend Carmelo on any push-off that he does, or Kobe. Even when I'm in the game and I get away with a little bit of doop-doop, you know what I'm saying, a little travel, a little something. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. So I don't blame you, but that doesn't mean that you're not capping, though. You're definitely capping.
There is so much cap, I need 3.
It's
adding
adding 3 caps. Oh, boy.
Wow.
We all underestimated the Phillies. Nothing wrong with saying that. But my God, yeah, you're a fan of the Mets, but that means you ain't an objective sports viewer. So you enjoy your tunnel vision. That's fine. That'll keep you safe on the road, except for when some truck comes out of nowhere and T-bones you. Meep.
Catching W's out
It's only a flesh wound.
Excellent job, Gio.
Well, thank you.
No cap to that.
Great. Wonderful.
Let's go.
Let's look at the at Mike's performance. His words on the Yankees.
Yeah, I'm gonna go no cap. The Yankees have been on the schneid, for as early as it is in the year. A lot of pieces really do need to step it up if they're gonna get back to that quote unquote Bronx Bomber status. If they're gonna stay atop the AL East. I do believe that Mike has passionately stated his claims as to why the Yankees need to pick it up and get back to that pinstripe mentality.
I 100% agree with Mike on everything he said about the Yankees. It should not be DJ LeMahieu as the only person to hit the baseball with runners in scoring position. It shouldn't be Garrett Cole. That's the only pitcher that can actually be trusted for a consistent quality start. And given it is only 7 games into the season for this team at this recording, that they should be performing as erratic as they are. Granted, they did decent against Baltimore. Toronto is supposed to be a good team, and they've kind of been showing that this year to the point. But letting Tampa Bay, no offense, Adam, score 10 runs against you with this current lineup, not good. No cap, sir. Love it.
And Mike and I basically agreed with each other the entire time during his show. So obviously, no cap to his words. We come to Gio. Gentlemen, there's not much really there's not much to go cap it, but cap or no cap on whether or not you agree that Tatis is the most impactful injury, or what I said, if you think Judge is the most impactful injury. Anything you want to say here?
Yeah, no cap for Mr. Judge and Jury, because Aaron Judge, without a doubt, is one of the most integral pieces on the Yankees roster. Aaron Judge, without a doubt, you could ask any potential Yankees fan you want. Aaron Judge right now is the face of the Yankees. Fans are asking too much of that. It's like, you're never going to replace Derek Jeter. We're never going to replace David Wright nor Mike Piazza, 2 of our greatest franchises faces. To ask of someone who's had 1 year, who had a bottle rocket year, and then to ask for that consistently while battling injuries, Derek Jeter basically had like nearly an Iron Man career and had great success off of that, but also had the pieces that were just as great around him. Who comes close to that for Judge besides maybe DJ LeMahieu, maybe your Aroldis Chapman?
And what I left out in my decision to go with Judge is that, and it's my own fault, I said second at MVP, first in Rookie of the Year the previous year. He won Rookie of the Year. He should be able to keep this going.
He at that point set the rookie home run record, before Pete Alonso.
Let's say no cap to the both of y'all. I think that both of you have it right in terms of most impactful injuries to watch with respect to each league, the American and the National. The Padres have enough to be somewhat sustainable without Tatis, but not for long. Judge, I mean, we don't even need to keep going on about it. The fact of the matter is that this is a make or break season for him, especially as a New York Yankee. So for me, that's where it comes to. I think that you could arguably make a case for Eloy Jimenez, but the White Sox are so loaded.
All right, so so we're gonna go to our final thoughts for the week. Mike, go ahead, start us off.
We're gonna start talking basketball, and I'm gonna leave it to my good friend to tear a certain college team a new one. But I'm going to go with two players here. And as y'all know, I always have my sneakers that I periodically bring out to represent. So the first one, you would think that this would be the Hornets, but this is a LeBron. The impact of LeBron on my Los Angeles Lakers right now, both him and AD being out, it don't look good, y'all. It don't look good. I watched that game against the Heat. I've been watching some of these games that they've been playing. I think they played the Bucks recently. Toronto might have been in there. I forget whether Toronto was in there. It's like we win 3 in a row and then we lose 3 in a row. I still don't know how this Gasol, Andre Drummond thing is going to play out. We could potentially go as low as 7th when it's all said and done because Portland and the Dallas Mavericks are creeping up on us. I think that it's crucial that we got Drummond at the trade deadline. Because he gives us that legitimate big 3, if you will. I think Drummond's one of the most underrated players in the league. It's so criminal how people treat Drummond. And then the second sneaker, Gio, you're going to like this one. KD.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Brooklyn Nets.
Oh,
you know
that's
what I'm saying?
sneak.
I saw KD come back the other day, boy. Off the bench. 17 points on 5 of 5 shooting, 7 rebounds and 5 assists in under 20 minutes. I happen to be one of the ones that think that there's a lot of teams that can make a run because anything could happen this year. My Lakers aren't at full health. The Clippers are starting to come to form. The Suns have been the surprise of the league, as have the Jazz. It's not just the same old East anymore. You got Philly, you got Milwaukee. We're going to see what Miami does. And obviously you got Brooklyn. I don't know. Brooklyn look better than all of these teams right now, man.
I got 2 things for my final thoughts. The first is the runner on second in extra innings is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in any sport, any rule.
Facts.
And I'm not going to be the typical sports shill that's going to tell Rob Manfred to resign. He's the worst commissioner in sports. I'll let the 70,000 other people talk about that. But watching these games, any game that's been in extra innings, it's not natural. There are people at Yankee Stadium chanting, "Play real baseball." Do you want your tenure as commissioner to be that? You're making Gary Bettman look like a saint, and that's saying something. The second thing, I don't understand anybody who defends leaning into a pitch that's in the strike zone to win a game when you have 1 out. God forbid I am rooting for the Mets to succeed, but it is very hard to do so when I'm seeing Bush League moves like that. And first off, this also relates to Manfred because they're not allowed to review that. The second the ump makes the call in a situation, the game's over or the game continues. So the ump originally called strike 3, said he got hit, and they couldn't review it afterwards. It was so bad, even the Mets announcers, Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, and Keith Hernandez all called out Conforto. It's known that most of the broadcast teams are kind of in favor of the home team. So when they called out Conforto, I was shocked. But then you look at the replay, and then you're trying to tell me you got to win one for the team. Well, if that's the case, how about Trevor Bauer does not get investigated for docking baseballs like he is? How about we let the 2017 Astros keep their championship? I can't stand stuff like that. It's not cool. It's the same with the Schroeder stuff like Adam mentioned before. It is complete Bush League. There should be an option if that happens where the ball is obviously in the strike zone and you do something like that, you're out. It's arguably as bad, if not worse, than the runner on second and extras rule.
Yeah, that rule is pretty bad.
Yeah, let Adam go last. I got to hear this.
Okay. So, I mean, it's nothing exorbitant. Don't worry. Not this time, at least. But I want to shift gears back to basketball. The top 25 under 25 list just recently came out,
Oh God.
and there are some respectable names on that list. But where is RJ Barrett? Where is Rowan Alexander Barrett Jr. on that list?
Tell.
Nowhere. We're not gonna act like RJ Barrett is one of the top 5 scorers on a current playoff team. They're like, oh, but it's the Knicks. The Knicks are at least a playoff team this year. Who's on this list? Domantas Sabonis? All right, yeah, sure, he's fine. Lonzo wants to come to the Knicks. The only questionable player that I can vouch for on that list is Tyrese Halliburton. I had an argument with someone on a fan page recently that Tyrese Halliburton should not be on that list. And I'm like, you see, Tyrese Halliburton is actually bringing the Kings back to relevancy. At some point, he was top 10 in the league in shooting percentage. But no, basketball fans don't want to hear about analytics.
Sorry to cut you off, Dem, but to add to the Tyrese Halliburton stuff, I think he's the reason why De'Aaron Fox is having a career season.
Precisely. Exactly. I agree. Thank you, Gio. You have Luka, you have LaMelo, who is honestly deserving as being on that list. They have Ja ranked too low on that list, might I add. Where's RJ? RJ Barrett from 3 went from 36% last year to 46% within his last 40 games. I remember times when I didn't want RJ Barrett to have the ball in his hands from beyond the arc. Now I trust him more than I trust us to have the ball in Julius Randle's hands against the Nets.
Okay.
Here we go.
Let's all go on mute for this one, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop talking.
Last week it was Gio. Last week it was actually also Mike. The week before it was also Mike. Demetrius, we have yet to see really burst his top. And a surprise to everybody, I still haven't lost my cool yet. So I'm going to put it off a little bit longer and just start off by saying in 3 days, the NHL trade deadline is here. And I cannot wait to see what happens. It's going to be a fantastic trade deadline. Everybody's going to make some moves. I can see Florida. I can see Carolina. I can even see Tampa with their limited cap space making some moves. I can see Colorado doing some stuff. That's going to be a fantastic time. And after that, we're a very short way away from the NFL draft and the NHL expansion draft and the NHL draft. You got so much in succession after this trade deadline. You got the Stanley Cup playoffs, the NBA playoffs, then you got the Stanley Cup finals, the NBA finals, and you go right into the drafts, all 3 of them. And it's going to be a fun time to watch. Now let me talk about Gonzaga. These motherfuckers. We talk about East Coast bias. We talk about how we never see the best teams in the West play because they're West Coast teams and they play at night. They play at all crazy hours for us East Coasters. ESPN, NBCSN, NHL Network, MLB Net, they're all located, their hubs are all located on the East Coast. The best from the West and the best in college the entire year was Gonzaga. I don't think anybody's going to dispute that. They were 31-0. We were all thinking to ourselves, my God, West Coast bias is real. A non-Power 5 conference. Look at what they're doing. This is insane. Since Indiana in men's basketball. And then they show up to the game. And you know what? That's giving them too much credit. They didn't show up to the game. They might as well have sent in the taxi squad. They were 31-0. And the game starts out on a 29-8 run against Baylor. Are you kidding? They didn't even have their best player. What have you been doing? UCLA was a great team. That was a fantastic game in the Final Four. It was a hard-fought game, but you still won. But that was a sign of things to come. A 3-point overtime victory against one of the last 4 in. Everybody who lost to UCLA should have been ashamed of themselves. But Gonzaga especially, how dare you? How dare you win by 3 on a desperation shot? I don't like basketball. Look what you've done to me. What you did, there are no words. It's not that I just don't have words. It's there are no words. It's disgraceful. Mark Few deserves better. As Mike said, he in the group chat, he looked helpless on the sideline. You know why? Because what the hell else can he do? coached your asses for 31 games. You don't know how to play by now? The hell is wrong with you? It's the finals, man. We ain't talking about practice. We talking about the finals. Of course Mark Few looked helpless. Anybody, Bobby Knight would look helpless with you bunch of morons. What is wrong with you? You switched to zone, and oh my God, there's something to look forward to. Oh my God, zone defense, what a thought. Well, why didn't you start out playing that way? It's not like Baylor hasn't played the entire season. It's not like Baylor has their best player. It's not like Baylor is a surprise to you like UCLA was. At least UCLA took everybody off guard. Baylor was the number 1 seed. Not just the number 1 seed. They were the second number 1 seed. So they were obviously the second best team in the tournament. This should not have been a shock to you. Loyola Chicago took out Illinois. Their perimeter defense shut down one of the 3 best offenses in the nation. If you weren't looking at that Chicago game, that Illinois versus Loyola game, and saying, you know what, that's how we need to defend, because that is a masterclass in defense, then you ain't prepared for nothing. I know it ain't Mark Few's fault. He did his job. He got you there. And you know what? All you did was prove that it ain't a West Coast bias. There ain't no non-Power 5 conference bias. It's just you guys are bigger choke artists than the Yankees in 2004. And you should be ashamed of yourselves for what you did to Few. Because of you, it ain't Mark Few. It's Mark Zero. He deserved better, and you could have done better. A 20-point loss in the finals. Shame on all of you.
You know what's even worse about that? 2 of their best 3 players, well, all 3 of their best players are not going to be there next season because 2 of them are getting drafted early, and the other one's a senior.
Bye-bye, Suggs. Bye-bye, Jacob Timmy. Bye-bye, Corey.
Suggs ain't going back.
I mean, it's you feel so bad for Mark Few. Like, it's like you want him to win a championship. That way he can join that official last tier.
Yeah.
He's got to pull a Porter Moses, which you mentioned Loyola Chicago. He's going to Oklahoma. That might be the only way he can win a championship because you can only do so much with a non-Power 5 conference. That's why so many smaller coaches, like Shaka Smart recently, go to bigger schools because they have the better recruiting pool.
Shaka Smart has hair now, too.
Yeah, it's also weird. I don't get that.
Wait,
but if you give Mark Few a chance to recruit from a Power 5 conference with booster money behind him, I'm not
that
saying
dude's going to win 3. That dude could be the next could lead the next UCLA.
I told
7 straight or 5 straight champions.
But shout out to Mick Cronin. He's an awesome coach. Glad he got that extension.
Yeah.
I remember that game that Gonzaga played against Pepperdine where they almost lost in the regular season. A coworker of mine was telling me that. I was like, oh yeah, Gonzaga's number 1 undefeated. Watch them lose at some point this year. And you don't assert dominance in a mid-major conference by almost losing to Pepperdine. Pepperdine.
Yeah, and I mean, that was beautiful, Adam. And the only thing I would say is, listen, shout out to Baylor because not only do they have 3 guards,
they deserve a lot of credit.
Not only do they have 3 guards that might be lottery picks themselves, but they showed up and beat them boys down.
Mm-hmm.
Baylor
They deserve a lot of credit. Don't let my rant against Gonzaga fool you. Baylor showed up and did the job.
Baylor avenged the girls. That's all I can say. Baylor avenged the girls.
That was a dirty loss for the girls.
I'm a UConn fan saying that. Baylor avenged the girls.
That was a dirty loss for the women. That Baylor should have had that. That was absolutely.
I'm a Connecticut fan saying.
Oh,
that.
we know. We remember the Connecticut shape hole in your heart. Well, that will do it for us. I'm going to go check my blood pressure because my heart is kind of pounding out of its chest right now. I'm pretty sure I'm having a heart attack. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. I do appreciate it as always. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.